I picked up 260,000 cash in the trash on Valentine's Day. After taking it home, my cousin said it was life-saving money. Let me throw it away. After I threw the money away, my cousin went to pick it up in the middle of the night, looking at buying LV today, buy Balenciaga's cousin tomorrow. And I laughed, because it was really life-saving money. I bought my cousin's life. Qianchen bought a bag again. My mother looked at Zhou Qianchen, who came back with a new bag across the door, and laughed. The company gave a bonus today. Oh, right. I'll take you all out to dinner tonight. The address will be sent to the group in a while. Auntie, remember not to make dinner. I looked at Zhou Qianchen with a proud face. I just think she's dying. Pitiful, because my mother and Zhou Qianchen's mother are sisters. So when the two of us bought a house, I bought the opposite door directly. Our families have a good relationship. Open doors during the day. If the two families want to visit, they can visit. After 2 minutes, I see a family that loves each other. The address sent by Zhou Qianchen in the group is a fancy French restaurant, 1000 yuan per person. It seems that's how she spends her money, too. In the restaurant, Zhou Qianchen is sitting next to me. A toast to several elders with a smile. Look at Qianchen, how filial. I found a job in a big company, not to mention they gave us a bonus and invited us all to dinner. Can you learn more from other people, Qianchen? Don't stay home all day, not looking for a job. Really can't. You can find a man to marry. My mother also took the opportunity to praise Zhou Qianchen and belittle me. I pulled my lips with a smile. Nothing to defend myself, because starting today, Zhou Qianchen's life has entered the countdown. 3 in the bathroom. Wait for Zhou Qianchen to come out. Moon, sister, why don't you come to our company as a cleaner? 5000 yuan a month. I also pay 5 insurances and 1 housing fund. I pulled a piece of paper from the wall. Is it okay to wipe your hands with a towel? But what is the cleaning responsible for? Zhou Qianchen looked me up and down. Cleaning, of course, is responsible for cleaning the building. If you come, I'll say hi to HR, put you on my floor. There is also a care, that's for the best. Save my mom from saying I'm old at home all day. I threw the dirty paper in my hand into the trash can. She smiled and patted Zhou Qianchen's shoulder. I agreed. Zhou Qianchen's body froze for a while. The expression is also a little unnatural. Sister Lianyu, do you really want to come to our company as a cleaner? Look at what Zhou Qianchen means. Just trying to humiliate me. Not ready to really let me go. Yes, Qianchen, are you kidding me? Zhou Qianchen blinked her eyes. Of course not. I frowned. Lean into his ear. Sound down. Qianchen, the money you asked me to throw away last time. Are you late at night? I secretly went to the trash can to pick it up again. Zhou Qianchen's voice raised. Stare at me. What nonsense are you talking about? How could I possibly pick up that money? That's good, sister. I'm afraid you'll be confused. The expression is a little guilty. How could it be for noon in 3 days? I'm cleaning in the company bathroom. It was a horrible cry coming from the toilet. I put the mop in my hand. Qianchen, what's wrong with you? I stood in front of his door, anxious knock on the door. Qianchen, what happened to you? Open the door and tell my sister. The door is open. Zhou Qianchen's face was full of tears. The makeup on my face is too expensive to draw anymore. What's wrong, Qianchen? I took a closer look at her face. It seems that nothing has changed. Sister Lanyu's money. There is something wrong with that money. Zhou Qianchen's voice trembled. Lift her hands up a pair. As dead as a 70 or 80-year-old lady, the withered hand appeared in front of me. My eyes widened. Qianchen, what's wrong with your hand? Zhou Qianchen took my hand. The fear in my eyes is full. Sister Lanyu, do you still remember your Valentine's Day? That bag of cash you found? Remember, what's wrong? Didn't you tell me to throw that money back? I pretended to be shocked, don't you? Zhou Qianchen's fingers that grabbed my hand tightened again. I pick up the moon. I don't know. Is there something wrong with this money? Qianchen, how much did you use? He frowned, with a serious face. There should be less than 100,000 left, and I took a deep breath. Qianchen, don't use the rest of the money for now. I thought about it for another minute, and I said, I remember years ago, didn't your family hire a Taoist priest? I heard my aunt say it's pretty awesome. Why don't you ask my aunt to ask her to help you take a look again? That Taoist priest will drive away dirty things. Zhou Qianchen's eye shone. Well, the Taoist priest was invited in the evening, due to the importance of the matter. Our families are in the living room of Zhou Qianchen's house, waiting for the Taoist priest to give an explanation. Zhou Qianchen will tell what happened. I told the Taoist priest carefully. He stretched out his hands again and showed them to the Taoist priest. After the Taoist priest listened, take a deep look at me. I was numb by the way he looked at me, based on my years of experience. This money is indeed life-buying money. You took it and used it. Your life is bought. Wait until you've used up all your money. Your life is gone. Zhou Qianchen's mother heard this. His face turned white at once. Master, what should I do? Instead, he stroked the white beard on his chin. We need to find out who bought her life first. Just find out who lost the money. I know who is going to buy Sissy's life. Zhou Qianchen's mother was a little excited. 6. I went to the property office of the community with Zhou Qianchen's mother. Watched an all-night surveillance. I didn't see the person who lost the money show up, but you can see it, because I lost the money. I also dealt with the monitoring. In the morning, I helped Zhou Qianchen's mother back home. She seems to have aged a lot overnight. Worked for my daughter. I don't understand. Zhou Qianchen seems to be a little serious again. On her 26-year-old face has started to grow some wrinkles. The skin is also a little loose. Mom, did you find out who it was? As soon as she entered the house, Zhou Qianchen rushed up excitedly. Zhou Qianchen's mother's eyes are red. Hold her in your arms, palms on the side of her face. Don't worry, daughter. Mom won't let anything happen to you. Hear this. Zhou Qianchen pushed her mother away with all her might. So you mean you can't find who lost the money? I can't even find who lost the money in the surveillance. Where else can you look? I'm only 26 years old. I don't want to age so early, die so early. Zhou Qianchen struggled to hit the ground with her hands. Screaming like dementia, her mother can't hold it. Hear movement. My mom, who was cooking, also ran out of the house. Standing at the door of Zhou Qianchen's house, spatula in hand, Zhou Qianchen smashed her knuckles with blood. It's frightening. She hurt herself. They started pointing the finger at me. It's you who yelled at me. It's all about you getting the money back. It's you who deserved to die. You got the money back. If I hadn't let you throw it back. You are the one who is buying your life now. Why? Cheng Lianyu, why did you escape? What right do you have? Cheng Lianyu, you have no contribution to society. And then my mom came in with a look of horror on her face. Point at me, Qianchen, what did you teach him? Zhou Qianchen's mother was also stunned for a while. Shaking Zhou Qianchen's shoulders, Qianchen, are you mentally ill? He is Cheng Shai, and I am now in line of sight with Zhou Qianchen. 7. Zhou Qianchen was sent to the hospital. Zhou Qianchen's mother also cries all day. Doors that were open to each other. Zhou Qianchen's house is closed. Only my door is still open. In the evening, my mother brought a bowl of washed cherries. Standing in front of Zhou Qianchen's house, what can we do? My sister is finally getting better. Why did this happen all of a sudden? Who is it that wants to harm us, Qianchen? We Qianchen have been pitiful since childhood. I'm finally getting better. Why are you sick again? The moon is gone. It's enough to make our family sad. Qianchen can't let anything happen again. I looked at my mom, who was nagging. His eyes shook his head helplessly, and now the singeing in my earphones stopped. The voices of Zhou Qianchen's mother and the Taoist priest suddenly sounded. The day the Taoist priest first came, I put the bug. It was installed under the dining table of Zhou Qianchen's house. I went back to my room and lay on the bed. When I heard the words Cheng Lianyu, tears rolled in my eyes. Zhou Qianchen, Master, our family Qianchen is in this situation now. What should I do? Back then, You could help Qianchen turn her life against the sky. I believe you can also help Qianchen resolve the crisis this time. Does Zhou Qianchen know about the Taoist priest back then? Zhou Qianchen's mother's voice was lowered. How could Qianchen know? If Qianchen knew, how dare you pick up that $260,000? Master, please think of a way. I am the daughter of Qianchen. I can't live without her. The air was silent for a moment. The master opened his mouth to Zhou Qianchen's life. It was bought by Chang Zixing, that life-saving money. It should be that he designed for Zhou Qianchen to take it away. Zhou Qianchen's mother's voice raised. Do you mean Chang Zhai wants to harm us, Qianchen? Why would she do that? Taoist priest, you say why is that? She knew how her sister Chang Lanyu died. My sister's name is Chang Lanyu. She had good grades all her life, polite and educated, just graduated from college. I joined the best company in the city, Yanchang Group, but 3 years ago he got on a plane to country C and disappeared. Just after my sister Chang Lanyu disappeared, Zhou Qianchen's life began to flourish. Zhou Qianchen was born in the same year as my sister. From the moment they are born, it became the object of comparison between the two populations. Zhou Qianchen has not been in good health since she was a child. Don't like to talk, neither study. My sister went to the best college. She can only read an ordinary one. Half of them are sick. Also suspended for half a year. The doctor said he had liver stagnation. There is nothing wrong with the body organs. Later, Zhou Qianchen graduated. The body seems to be getting weaker and weaker. Did not participate in work. Stay at home all day to condition your body. 3 years ago, my sister was celebrating her promotion. At dinner that day, when everyone is toasting, Zhou Qianchen vomited blood. After sending Zhou Qianchen to the hospital urgently that day, we never saw her again. 2 doors that have been open for more than 20 years. Zhou Qianchen's parents also closed the ball. 2 months later, the door to the Zhou family opened again. It also appeared in our sight again. He seems to have changed. And the previous Zhou Qianchen, who was full of hostility, not the same person at all. Now Zhou Qianchen is sunny and cheerful, warm and generous. Run downstairs in the community on time at 6 a.m. every day. Everyone says she has changed. I also think she has changed. She doesn't look like Zhou Qianchen. Like my sister Chang Lanyu, the same day. My sister Chang Lianyu disappeared. I have an appointment. Taoists meet in a tea house. Master, your skills should be used in the right path. I raised my right eyebrow, with a hint of suffocating oppression. Little girl, you say I'm capable, so where did you learn your skills from? The Taoist priest laughed. Pick up the teacup on the table and drink it. I replied coldly with disdain. Who did you bury Zhou Qianchen's life with? The Taoist priest is not angry either. Master, aren't you amazing? You can see at a glance that I bought Zhou Qianchen's life. Who did you buy it for? Can't you figure it out? I waved my hand. If I could figure it out, it has long been resolved. Do you still want to meet you today? I have my hands on my chest. How much did Wang Li give you? I want to buy Zhou Qianchen's life. Don't get involved in this anymore. You want to buy Zhou Qianchen's life? Stop struggling. But how do you know your sister's life was bought? Is there any expert advice behind you? I pushed a card in front of the priest. 300,000. You stay out of this. But chuckled. Take my card. Since you are so generous, I'm not going to mind my own business. 11 Zhou Qianchen, even if the money is not spent, but over time, her life will also be gradually swallowed up. Zhou Qianchen was already weak. It's only a matter of time before she wants her life now. Until Zhou Qianchen died, it was when my sister Chang Liu came home. I thought it was over, but what I didn't expect was that one doesn't keep its word. She asked Zhou Qianchen's mother for more money, and boast to her would definitely buy Zhou Qianchen's life back. What? This life doesn't belong to Zhou Qianchen. 12 I secretly went to the hospital to find Zhou Qianchen. She hid in the corner. You look at me with horror on your face. Are you trying to hurt me again? I go up and I squat. She gently touched Zhou Qianchen's head. You were the same way a long time ago. But how did you suddenly get better? Did your mother ever tell you? Zhou Qianchen curled her head into her knees. The thin body that was only left with bones kept shaking. Not really. No, actually. I don't know. Zhou Qianchen covered her ears with her hands. Extremely hoarse voice. Then let my sister tell you. I picked up her chin with a smile, and he puts his other hand over her ear, fingers torn apart, my sharp nose, deep into Zhou Qianchen's skin. The pain made her scream. You bought this wretched life from Cheng Lanyu. How does it feel for Zhou Qianchen to be bought for her life? How are you? Zhou Qianchen raised her head. Tears fell from the eyes, dark eyes. Sister Lanyu, will you let me go? I reached out to help him wipe the tears from the corners of his eyes. A vain smile hung on the corner of his mouth. If Sissy makes a mistake, she will bear the consequences. Zhou Qianchen grabbed my hand. But I don't know, that's what my mom and that Taoist priest did. I didn't take the initiative to change lives. I look like this now. My boyfriend said he was breaking up with me. Do you know, we were going to get married next year. I chuckled, but you are the beneficiary. And didn't they all tell you? I'm Cheng Kixing, not Cheng Lanyu. Why do you still call me Sister Lanyu? Zhou Qianchen's deeply sunken eyes looked at me, weak and scattered eyes. I can't seem to tell if I'm Cheng Lanyu or Cheng Kixing. Qianchen, I stood up. A smile on the corner of the mouth, staring at Zhou Qianchen sarcastically. Thank you for arranging for me to go to Yunshan Group to do cleaning. This allows me to be in the bathroom. Introduce yourself to Selena, head of department. She said she remembered my sister Cheng Lanyu. She said I was as good as my sister. And how did you Zhou Qianchen enter the club group? Did you sleep with Partia? That's what you say? Now this boyfriend, who is breaking up with you, why are you so prosperous? Zhou Qianchen completely broke the defense. She went crazy in the ward, yelling at me, while screaming for the doctor to come. Doctors and nurses, the doctor came running. I pretended to be at a loss, looking desperately at the doctor for help. The patient's family. The patient's condition is not stable. Please wait outside. And then we're done. The doctor pulls out the syringe, stabbed Zhou Qianchen, who had been pressed on the bed by the nurse. I left the room with a worried face. After leaving the ward, didn't stay for another second. 13. The auspicious day of the zodiac chosen by the Taoist priest has arrived. I got up early to make breakfast. He also specially woke up his parents in advance. I told my parents vividly at the dinner table about Zhou Qianchen, and he fell for the evil of that Taoist priest. It must be said that I bought Zhou Qianchen's life. My dad sucked a mouthful of noodles. How is it possible to wave your hand? You just got back from reading, never worked again. Where did you get so much money from? My mother also responds to my husband. What's wrong with my sister? She suspects that no one can dab our daughter. I am her sister. This child has been kind-hearted since he was a child. How could such a thing be done? I took my last bite of noodle soup, a clap of the palm. Yeah, the good Taoist priest was deceived. I also saw my aunt give that Taoist priest a wad of money that day. The Taoist priest seemed to say, how can I buy Qianchen's life back? Finish. Pretentiously, I picked up my phone and flipped through the calendar. Emotional. It's over. It seems to be today. Today they're going to Moshan to practice. Then let's go and see, in case something happens. I can't get through this for the rest of my life. My mom panicked. Immediately put down the bowls and chopsticks in your hands. Urge us to leave quickly. Desolate mountaintop. I stand in the distance, looking at the closely arranged gossip array. The one in the Taoist robe is standing outside the hexagram. Sitting in the 8 trigrams array is Zhou Qianchen. What are you doing? I rushed out at the right time, ran towards the 8 trigrams formation. Wang saw me. Rush over and hug me. Don't let me come forward. Cheng Kixing, why are you here? Don't make trouble. Auntie, she will hurt Zhou Qianchen. She's a charlatan. I can see the progress of my parents up the mountain behind me. While struggling in Wang Li's arms, Cheng Kixing, what are you talking about? I haven't settled the bill with you yet. If you hadn't bought Cece's life, do I need a master to do it? What to buy? Auntie, are you crazy? You must have been brainwashed by that Taoist priest. Qianchen may be suffering from aging disease. Besides, wasn't Qianchen like this before? Now my parents have also climbed to the top of the mountain, stunned in place. Mom and Dad, stop that charlatan. Sissy was already mentally ill. Be annoyed by this liar again. Don't go crazy. My aunt was also brainwashed. I have to say that I bought Sissy's life. I am in good health. Why would I buy her life? My parents were freaked too, stuck in place. No matter what I say or motionless. 14-hour Taoist priest facing Huang Fu Dao in his hand. Shout out and then face up. Put the yellow talisman in your hand. Throw it into the furnace in front of Zhou Qian with. The yellow talisman with the 8 characters of Chang Lianyu's birthday written on it was ignited. I can see Wang Li's eyes twinkling with joy and hope. But unfortunately, I'm afraid it won't end as he intended. Celestial anomaly. It was sunny weather, suddenly dark clouds gloomy. I saw the Taoist priest standing in front of the 8 trigrams formation, pale face, what's in your mouth? The moment the yellow talisman burns out in the furnace, Zhou Qianchen's body, the wisps of blue smoke began to rise. She let out a piercing roar, then Zhou Qianchen fell to the ground in an instant. Then black blood began to flow out strangely. Wang Li and the Taoist priest were stunned for a moment. Then they ran towards Zhou Qianchen together. How could this be? Instead, he threw the wooden sword in his hand to the ground. Squatting down, Zhou Qianchen's breath, I felt her pulse again. Is the birthday 8 characters you gave correct? But frowned, serious expression. Wang Li slumped on the ground, the voice trembled. It is Chang Lianyu's birthday. That's right. Wang Li reached out to touch Zhou Qianchen with a black and bloody face. Fingertips trembling. Master, what's wrong with Sissy? Will he survive? Taoist priest raises his eyes. Just met my line of sight. His pupils constricted. Like remembering something. You are a city Taoist priest, and you haven't finished speaking yet. Just like Zhou Qianchen, she fell to the ground. The Taoist priest's face turned black. Strange also shed black blood like Zhou Qianchen. This is the moment. I got a call from overseas. He said that my sister, Zixing Chang, regained her independence. Heartbeat 15. Let me finish the unfinished words for the Taoist priest. I am indeed Chang Lianyu. It wasn't me who died. It's my sister Chang Jixing. I designed this game for 3 years, just to wait for this moment. And that 300,000 bought the life of that unscrupulous Taoist priest. Wang Li will use more money to buy a Taoist priest. And the details of that Taoist priest, I already checked it out. It was money-loving and hubris. He might know that I have some skills. But I definitely don't think I have a way to buy his life. The unscrupulous Taoist priest is right. The lives of the dead cannot be bought back. Trying to save my sister, buying Zhou Qianchen's life is far from enough. So I need a body and a victim to bloodstain. It was my sister Chang Jixing who bought Zhou Qianchen's life. And the royal talisman says my birthday. It's hard not to be wiped out. And it took me 3 years to figure out the only way. 16 years ago, I got it, a phone call from my sister who went to school in a foreign country. She told me that Zhou Qianchen's family wanted to harm me. At that time, I did not take the words of Chang Jistar to heart. I know this kid likes metaphysics, always loved to say something. When he was a senior in high school, I don't know where I got a fortune-telling book, hold it all day, addicted to it. So much so that the final college entrance examination was a mess. The day the college entrance examination results came out, I picked up the book at hand, wrapped it up and hit him twice on the head. Chang Shai, aren't you pretty good at counting? Have you ever counted that you only got 420 points in the test? Chang Zixing is not angry with him either, laughing while hiding from my sister. I'm really not the material for reading. Stop hitting me. My ultimate dream, just set up a fortune-telling stall at the entrance of our community. Help, sister, it hurts. If you hit the head again, it will break. Having already entered the society, I am well aware of the importance of academic qualifications. Finally, at my insistence, parents sent Chang Jaxing to study abroad. And what I don't know is, this bastard didn't go to the school I carefully selected for him at all. He doesn't know where to go in class. There was a school for metaphysics. Secretly went to school there, in order not to expose himself. He didn't even come back for the winter and summer vacations. When I learned that Chang Jai had an accident, I'm in a meeting at Cloud Group. An unfamiliar call from overseas called my cell phone. The other party claims to be Chang Jaxing's boyfriend. Said something happened to Chang Jai. Let me book a ticket to go abroad as soon as possible. I sneered and was a liar again. I've never heard of Process Jai Crossing having any boyfriends. But when he said something about Chang Jai Crossing, the details of my sister, and I was stunned. I risked losing my job, directly on the spot, direct flight to country 17 years ago. When I sent Voyager abroad, he is so lively, so full of life, and today, 3 years later, Chang Jaxing is lying in the experimental cabin of the laboratory. I'm standing in front of the pod. Fingers on the cold glass keep pulling, have no idea. Tears have already fallen down the cheeks, one drop after another. Chang Jaxing's boyfriend pushed the glasses on the bridge of his nose. There is a way to get your life back, but no one tried. What is the method? He handed over a thick notebook. Take a look at this first. Everything the star catcher wants to say to you is here. 18. I went back to Chang Jaxing's dormitory, opened the notebook, see the fly page. When the name of the 3 characters of the story is neatly completed, I can no longer suppress the sadness of losing a loved one in my heart. Write to my sister Chang Won-yu. When you look at this notebook, I may not be there anymore, although the wind and rain said they would put me in the experimental cabin. Then find a way to get my life back. I never thought my aunt's family would be right. You start, your mother clearly said. Auntie is the only person in the world except her parents, the best person for us. How could he do such a bad thing to you? The wind chimes on my desk rang and rang that day, although he usually rings. But I was really upset when it rang that day. I did the math for the whole family. And there is a death in your hexagram. But clearly 2 months ago, it was fine when I did the math for you in class. I tried everything. Finally found the source. It's my aunt who wants to buy your life. Buy your life for his daughter Zhou Qianzhen. After learning about this, I'll call you as soon as possible. But my sister, you staunch materialist. I know you're not going to believe this. I went to my teacher, even went to my teacher's teacher. I want to find a way to solve this disaster for you. They say even if I stop this time, as long as Zhou Qianzhen is still alive, Auntie will try her best to buy your life. More terrifying than ghosts is the human heart. Chang Won-yu asked me to call you this once. From small to large, I'm in trouble and you're carrying it for me. If I am beaten, you have to apply to your parents to help me carry half of it. I was bullied. You are the first to come out. Although the person who bullies me the most is you. But I know how much you love my sister, so the sister who was protected by you since childhood. I also want to protect you once. It was 1 month ago. I bought a plane ticket back to China behind everyone's back. I specially covered the mole at the corner of my mouth and went to my aunt's house. And I just have to say it again, how similar we are to this fact. I knew this earlier. Asked you to help me with the college entrance examination at the beginning. When I took the money from my aunt, I'm still very serious. I asked him 3 times seriously, are you sure you want to give me this money? Do you really want to give it to me? Be sure to give it to me. He smiled and shoved it into my hand. It's all my aunt's heart. After getting the money, I flew directly back to country. My body is getting weaker. Until the wind and rain are noticed, I just stood out. He said I was the stupidest fool in the world. Yes, we study metaphysics, how easy it is to kill someone, but walking into the first lesson of school, you can't use metaphysics to harm people, and that's not why I started, but I really can't make it through that time. Sister, don't blame me for leaving you alone. Sister will always love you. I know that Sister Qianzhen has been different from others since she was a child. She is weak, introverted. Studying is not very good, But Auntie Qianzhen is not satisfied. It has nothing to do with my sister. My sister is so outstanding, but every one of her excellence, all by their own efforts. You just know that her entrance is the key, admitted to the best university. You haven't seen. The light in her room was still on at 3 a.m. The table is full of practice questions that you can't finish writing. You only know that he entered the cloud group. That interview has thousands of people, a large company that eventually hires one person. You haven't seen him since freshman year, go for various internships, participate in various competitions, just to be one step ahead of others. If someone has to be a victim, I can understand your urgency. I want to feel better. I hope my sister doesn't. I won't allow anyone to destroy a single bit of him. From the third page, it was recorded by Voyager, how to get your life back in various ways, from me who has not studied systematically. For every symbol written on the star of Satyr, I am a stranger. I went to find the wind and rain. Let him help me decipher the contents of the notebook of the city star. After reading all the content in the notebook of Chengzhai star, I thought of Zhou Qianzhen when I went out in the morning, presumably his vitality, all from my sister Chengzhai star, since Chengzhai stars can't go down the sword. Then let me raise my knife and cut him with a bloody head. Then 3 years, I never came back. I stayed in country C as a star seeker, while rereading undergraduate. Searching day and night, how to be foolproof, the way to exchange Chang Kixing's life back. Just after the Taoist priest died, Wang Li also fainted. I stood on the top of the mountain calmly making emergency calls. The death scene of Zhou Qianzhen and the Taoist priest was sealed off. We got into the ambulance with Wang Li and went to the hospital. I've been talking all the way. I already said that person is a charlatan. Why doesn't my aunt believe it? My parents also echoed that my aunt is really pitiful. The child is finally better. Now this happens again. What will happen in the days to come, from start to finish? My parents had no idea about the whole thing. Why didn't you tell them? My aunt is my mother's only relative. I want to keep a little Pure Land in my heart for him. The disappearance of Chen Lonyu, it's exhausting my mom. His body is not as big as it used to be. I don't want to give him the slightest bit of thorn. Finally, their mouths are not strict. My revenge plan has no room for error. Zhou Qianzhen is dead. Wang Li is also crazy. Heaven will not harm any innocent person. The wind and rain said that my sister has gradually improved. He also told Changzhai everything that happened. And I asked him what he said. He said it was picking stars, as expected of my sister. I didn't expect my sister to protect me in the end. The wind and rain stopped. Then say, sister, you don't have to pay that money back. Just treat it as part of my dowry money for picking up stars. I smiled. Which line of one code is one code? 2 weeks after Zhou Qianzhen's death, I was working overtime and got a call from my mom. She said my aunt Wang Li jumped off the building. What a magpie. The wicked had their own hell. After Wang Li's funeral, her husband sold the house and went back to his hometown, no longer pursued the cause of Zhou Qianzhen's death. I also moved with my parents. The door that has been open for more than 20 years is permanently closed. A year later, Chang Jackson made a complete recovery. I made a small plan to tell my parents. Chang Lonyu found me, reset with Chang Jackson. Wind and rain also come to propose marriage. I left Cloud Group, study abroad for postgraduate studies. Chang Jackson stayed in City with wind and rain, get married, and have children, caring for parents.